I had a whole script written for this video. Still sitting in front of me now on the screen. But then I started the soundtrack here and the ambience to, you know, put a nice background spin on the video. And I don't know, man. I don't know. The feels just hit you in the gut, and I sit back and go, do you know what? I'm just going to do this from the hip. I honestly feel every now and then in life, it doesn't matter what's going on, I'll be traipsing through life, doing my own thing, and I'll be doing some writing, or I'll be doing some marking, or I'll be teaching, whatever it is I'm doing. And it'll just hit me. You know the feeling. I'll be watching a movie, I'll be reading a book, and it'll hit me. I really want to roleplay as the thing that I'm reading, or I really want to do the thing that I'm reading in this fantasy book, or in this novel, or on this show. That'd be really cool. A really cool idea for a character. My mind immediately, it doesn't think of writing a book, it doesn't think of doing a D&D session, or doing a drawing. It thinks, could I make this character in Skyrim? Yes, Mr. God, I'll stop recording in a sec. Can I create this character in Skyrim? And you know what's really cool about Skyrim? The answer's always yes. As long as you're doing a character that's in a fantasy world. Or sometimes not. You could create Batman in Skyrim if you really wanted to. And I'm not talking... Sorry, yeah, I'm just recording. I'm not talking about downloading a mod. You can go and get the Nightingale armor, spec into being really stealthy, and in wielding, you know, unarmed attacks. You're Batman. You're basically fantasy Batman. You know, there are so many things you can do. And one of the main things that I don't see Skyrim given enough credit for. Yes, it dumbs down the combat. Yes, it dumbs down the character progression. And yes, it makes things ultra accessible. But just bear in mind, if you will, the depth and the breadth of what you're allowed to do with this game. You can give me any sort of archetype from a fantasy genre, and I can make it in Skyrim and make it work and make it really powerful. You can give me an archetype from many modern movies, action movies, whatever, and I can make it an archetype in Skyrim and I can make it really powerful. I'm serious. I could make Harry Potter in this game and make it work. That is a truly epic, robust system. And I don't think it gets enough credit. Just mechanically, this game draws me back. And that's the one thing I wanted to talk about today in this video. I have so many other games I could be playing. I recently bought Plague Tale Requiem, you know, brilliant game. I'm looking at other games in my library right now. I've got a Rogue Trader to play. I bought Iron Harvest for not a lot of money, you know? All these games that I can play. So why do I keep coming back to Skyrim? I keep coming back. It won't let me go. Do you want to know why I think it is? I'm going to answer the question right now, so you can leave if you want, if I'm boring you already. It's because I write. Yeah. It's because I like to write. Any of you already know, who know me. Sorry, just resetting back to night there. Any of you already know me. You already know that I love to tell stories, right? I love to write. I love to be a dungeon master. I love to do all of these eclectic things to do with storytelling. Okay? I love to write lore. It's my main thing. I love it. Skyrim is a writer's dream. Because unlike things like... It's actually a lot more free than games like Morrowind. People say to me all the time, it's not as free as Morrowind. In Morrowind, you can go and do what you want, and you can kill whoever you want, and whatever. I don't think Morrowind is as free as Skyrim, and I've completed both multiple times, dozens of times. I think Skyrim is actually a lot more free in what you can do in terms of the game. I can walk through Skyrim and make up a story on the fly for why I'm doing it. I can walk through Skyrim and become whatever I want to become simply by playing the game. All of its design facets meld into each other in a way that say, listen, if you want to tell a fantasy story in a Nordic world, this is the game for you. We're not here to... And the reason why people have a go at the main quests in Bethesda games all the time. And people, again, you know me. You know I'm no big fan of Bethesda and what they've been doing recently. But the reason why Bethesda quests are as they are, especially in Skyrim, is because Bethesda don't want to tell you a story. They want you to tell the story. They want you to take your character through the main story, sure, right? But who your character is isn't defined by the main story. The main story in Skyrim feels like the prologue. At least it does to me. In fact, that you're even told at the end, you know, you've by Arnsgeir, one of the Greybeards, right? He says to you, you've to defeat Alduin, you've been given mastery over terrible weapons. You know, how are you going to use them in the world now? Are you going to be a hero, or is your name going to be accursed for future generations, right? Which basically tells you, in no uncertain terms, if you saved that quest till last, you're done fucked up. That's not how you're supposed to play the game, right? You're supposed to play it first and foremost. Or at least, within the first 20 hours of your experience of Skyrim, you're supposed to complete the main quest. Because it's the prologue. That's what people don't get. It sucks because it's the first part of your character's story. Your character becomes Dragonborn, saves the world, yes, but there are many other threats in both Dawnguard and Dragonborn, the DLC, in which you are saving the world, right? There are, and I would say, Mirak's probably, you know, more powerful, at least to fight, than Alduin is, right? So that's what I'm saying here. It is a writer's dream. Skyrim is a game where you can sit down and you can do what you want when you want, and all the main quest is the primer to get you started, to set you on the path to where you need to go, right? That's all it is. We'll get into the modding scene in a minute, but I always think, why in the hell am I playing this again? And sometimes I don't finish my playthroughs. Sometimes I'll play it for like 10, 20 hours and I'll get my fill and I'll go away. Have you ever done that with Skyrim? Have you ever played it for just like 10, 20 hours, then you go, do you know what? I'm good now. I'm good. I've had my fill, and Skyrim did what it did, and now I'm done. And now I'm going to play something else. But you keep coming back. Like an abused lover, you keep coming back. Or at least I do. I keep coming back. I love the world. I love nearly everything about how it's set up and how we walk through it. I think every design choice made in the game is incredibly elegant. And yes, there are things that kind of frustrate me. Yes, the AI of NPCs can be a bit balked at times. Yeah. Yeah, that can happen. Bethesda jank, that can happen, right? But I still have this feeling whenever I play Skyrim. It's a warm feeling, the same feeling I get when I think about Halloween. Whenever I think about Halloween, I think of, like, you know, really happy times in my life. And I think of times when Halloween to me is like Christmas, but there's no pressure to enjoy it. That's why I love Halloween so much, right? Skyrim has the same feeling to me. Skyrim doesn't really pressure me to do anything. It just says, yeah, here's the world. Walk around, do what you want, right? Do what the hell you want. You're the Dragonborn. Do what you want, right? It wears that feeling. It's like a cozy pair of shoes that are well worn, that you put on again and again and again. You could wear your new shoes and wear them in. Sure, you could do. Or you could just wear Skyrim again and feel nice and warm and all that comfort that you've got going on there. this is why I kind of, in a way, bear with me, but I kind of fear for Elder Scrolls 6. You know? I think the people who complain about Skyrim, and there are many of them, okay? Familiarity breeds contempt. It just is what it is, you know? But I think when we see Elder Scrolls 6, only then will we realise what a piece of genius Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim was. I think only then. Only when you've got Elder Scrolls 6 in your hand, will you look back at Skyrim and go, fuck, that was good. You know? In a very similar way to Morrowind. People who liked Morrowind said, I didn't realise how good Morrowind was until we got Oblivion and then Skyrim, because Morrowind was what I liked. There is going to be a whole plethora, a generation of gamers who started with Skyrim. And let's not forget, Skyrim came out in 2012. That is 12 years ago. That is an unprecedented amount of time. Do you realise that in Skyrim's day, right? Back in Skyrim's day, if a part of a series had not come out for 12 years, that series would be considered defunct. I'm being serious. In 2012, if part 1 of a game series came out in the year 2000, and then we get to 2012, people would be like, why is this a sequel? We've moved on that far that it's no longer a sequel. It's its own game now. Like, it's its own thing. Because we moved on several console generations and things are a lot more powerful than they used to be. Right? We're here again. Remember, Skyrim came out on PS5 and on PS3 and Xbox 360. We're now multiple generations ahead. That's how long ago this was. And the thing is, in gaming, we've had this weird lengthening aging effect. And what I mean by that is, back in the day, as I just said, that 12-year span between the year 2000 and 2012 when Skyrim came out, let's think about the games that were coming out. Final Fantasy IX came out in the year 2000 and was considered a very good-looking game in the year 2000. Skyrim came out 12 years later. That is why there's such a huge shift in perception of, you know, if something came out in 2000 and then its sequel came out in 2012, people would say it's a different series, it's not even the same game. It can't be because the hardware's moved on. Alright? That's just where we are now. Modern gaming has seen a very lengthening, broadening, aging process. Because games aren't so much of a jump anymore. Okay? Final Fantasy IX to Elder Scrolls V was a huge jump in graphics. Okay? Even Final Fantasy IX to Final Fantasy XIII, which was, you know, around 2012, whenever it was, right? That's a huge jump. A massive quantum leap forwards in graphics. And gameplay, and fidelity, and all that good stuff. I still think 9's a better game, by the way, but I'm just saying, you know? We're not seeing that anymore. I don't know whether everyone else has noticed the same thing, because people tend to not really give it much credence, but is there really a difference, that much of a difference, in the game that I'm showing you now and Elden Ring? What's better looking, what I'm showing you now or Elden Ring? Go ahead, look at the screen. What's better? Elden Ring or this? I'd make a case for this. And this is from one of my earlier saves. When I haven't, the only mod I've got installed on this is one that lets me wear more than one weapon, right? And another which installs that keep there that you see the dragon guarding. That's it. Those are the only mods at this point in the game. I've got a lot more running now, but like at this time, this is my test save. You know? So what looks better? And that's where we are. There is an elongating of aging going on in games. This is why I think Skyrim has stood the test of time. And this is why I think the next leap quote unquote, won't look anywhere near what we have in Skyrim. And honestly, I don't even think Bethesda really have it in them to make a Skyrim anymore. I think Skyrim was when they distilled the formula down enough. Do you know what they say about pieces of art? They're not complete when you can't add any more. They're complete when you can't take away anything else without the whole thing breaking apart. Yeah? That's what Skyrim is to me. Oblivion and Morrowind and Arena and Daggerfall have their place, definitely, and they're amazing games in their own right. And they're all games born out of really crunchy tabletop role-playing systems that the studio used to play. In fact, Tamriel itself is a role-playing setting for the tabletop role-playing. It's a campaign setting for in-house campaigns that the game devs used to run, right? I know, crazy to think of, but there we are. I don't know where Elder Scrolls is going next, but what I can say is that if Elder Scrolls 5 has the same warmth to it that I feel, even after 12 years, I'd be flabbergasted. You know, there are people who will never get to see Elder Scrolls 6, sorry. There are people who will never get to see the next Elder Scrolls because it's not been out for so long. And I just fear that when we do get it, it won't match this. Mainly because asking it to is kind of unfair. Skyrim is a genre-defining epic. An absolute epic. It hit every note out of the park. Every single one. It's so good that a jaded old fucker like me, in my mid to late 30s, still can't stop coming back. Mods or no mods. I still can't put it down. I'll still be doing something else completely, and I'll think, ooh, I fancy playing Skyrim. And I will. There's nothing better that puts you in the mode of a hero. And I'm not sure the gaming industry has it in it. Never mind Bethesda, the industry. I'm not sure the gaming industry has it in it to create a game like this anymore. Not one that puts you at the center of the world and makes you feel, wow, I'm somewhere else right now. And not only that, the very music and ambiance of the world is enough to make you go, oh, I'm home again. Anyway, that's my ramble on Skyrim. I hope you enjoyed it. Welcome to North's Therapy. I hope you're doing well here. I will be back pretty soon with some more Dragon Age. We're going to be playing Dragon Age Awakening pretty soon, and then we'll go on to Dragon Age 2. As we go into next week, this week, I may have a little surprise for you towards the weekend for our next game that isn't Dragon Age, because I'm starting to think that, you know, we're playing a bit too much of one game series. So, whilst I will play Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition back to back to back, of course, I think it'll be good for us to have something else on the go as well. That's what I'm going to do. Alright? I love you all a long time. I will speak to you tomorrow, or today even, for some Dragon Age, good old Dragon Age content. I love you. And, you know, look after yourselves. See you around. Bye now.